Hi. Hi,
Hi.
everyone. I'm Kaylee. Welcome to my channel, Fantasmic Fandoms. And today I have a very special guest. I've always been scared I'm going to point the wrong way. This is my cousin Megan from the
Hi.
channel MeganLeighannReads. She has a YouTube channel, and we're going to talk also about her Bookstagram, which is a bookish Instagram
Yeah.
for those who don't know that combination. So we're going to talk about that. But this is my fourth episode of my Keeping It Kind creator live chat where I'm talking with my creator friends. So I asked Megan very early on. I was like, I want you on one of these because you're so much fun to have on. We did a previous live chat doing a bookish talk on, and actually, coincidentally, Christina was on the one I'm talking about.
Hi.
Christina was with us. Hi, Christina. We did a book talk with The Shadow and Bone. We just did the first book. I think I still haven't read all that series.
I haven't either.
Oh, you haven't?
Book, and I haven't.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you hadn't finished it. So yeah, I haven't read anymore. I got busy after that, but
Same.
yes. And Tim says, "Hey, ladies, good to see you on again, Megan. Thank you,
Hi.
Tim."
I see you too,
Tim and Katie, I know y'all are both on here. Even though Tim and Katie's comment is usually just Tim commenting on that one. So to kind of preface, I usually start these out by saying like what, the person kind of, our history. Well, Megan and I go way back, way back, because we're cousins.
Yeah.
Hi, Katie. We're cousins. We grew up together. There's a lot of embarrassing footage of both of us out there together,
Yes.
doing embarrassing things. But we both have always really loved like the creative side of things, which Megan's whole family is really that way. And y'all are all talented with drawing and writing and everything. Y'all are all super creative. But tell me, kind of what you started your Bookstagram. When did you start that? Like, when did that first start?
I think it was the end of 2018. I think was either 2017 or 2018. Because of COVID, the years run together now.
Yeah.
I don't know where one starts and where the other began.
Right.
I think it was like 2020 the other day, like two times in a row.
Yeah.
But it was a couple of years ago, and I started it because I first, I was participating in all of the Owl Crate like photo challenges every month to see if you could get like a free Owl Crate. And I ended up posting just book photos and everything on my personal Instagram for so long that someone that I knew, I guess in real life, ended up walking up to me at church and was like, "So what's like this Owl Crate stuff?" And it like weirdly, it made me feel like, oh wait, people are looking at all this book stuff and then they don't like, they're not interested in it. And I'm just it to all of my personal friends and family. So it probably would be better if I just started like my own Bookstagram account so that I could put all this stuff on there instead. And so that's how it kind of started. And then as well, I have a love of writing and wanting to be an author. And so connecting with fellow, readers and fellow writers and authors was something that I also really wanted to do that I hope that I could achieve with my Bookstagram. So it just spiraled from there at that point.
Yeah. And it's pretty, it's grown a lot, and your photos are really, really nice. I enjoy all your photos. You do a lot of cosplay photos too, with the books. So when did you do that from the beginning, or when did you start doing the cosplay photos?
So at first, I felt kind of intimidated by a lot of the other Bookstagrammers because they had such pretty, sets and pretty like Bookstagram photos and whatnot. And for me, I didn't used to have all this. This has been years in the making. I used to have very rundown bookshelves that were not very pretty. And so I thought to myself, okay, well, you're gonna you're gonna pick somewhere else instead of your room to take Bookstagram photos. So I was taking all of my books in backpacks outside to my backyard, and I was taking photos out there for a long time before obviously summer hit, and it's not fun in the summer. And the bees really, really, really liked me. So I thought this can't happen anymore. So at that point, I started putting effort into trying to making my bookshelves look pretty, and then try to figure out what are other things that I could do that would be cool And I had my senior prom dress that when you kind of take like the straps off of it, it kind of looks like a belle dress. And so I thought,
Yeah.
well, maybe if I can put my hair in like a bun up here on top, and I got some paper and I wrapped some paper around my hair so it looked like the band from Belle's like hair, I guess you could say. And then I got my dress and I ended up taking a couple of different photos with my phone with me looking like Belle, and a shop actually ended up reposting my photo. And so at that point I thought, well, who else could I like do cosplays for? And then that ended up kind of just spiraling into me making like my Jude, which is probably the one I like the most, and the one that I'm
Yeah.
known for is doing my Jude Duarte cosplay from The Cruel Prince.
Yes, yes. I still need to read that book. I did try I did try to get into it because you posted a lot. You post a lot about Holly Black is the author, right? You post a lot of her stuff. So I'm trying to like get into it because I'm like, I know if Megan likes it, it's probably really good.
Yes.
I couldn't get that into that. I'm gonna try again, but I don't think I was in the space. But I'm like really wanting to know the backstory because I'm like,
Yes.
I see so much of it. But you actually, you have a YouTube channel that has 2 videos on it that are, you doing a cosplay
Yes.
of Jude, right?
Yes.
And
Yes, exactly.
the horns and also the makeup and everything. And I was telling you the other day, I was like, man, I think it's the hair one
Yeah.
for the horns is doing like really, really well.
That
So
was
yeah.
kind of it. I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel. I've always had dreams to start a YouTube channel. Ask anyone in my family, and they'd be like, "Oh, Megan's made comments of it since she was like 13 about doing that." And so, when I decided to cosplay Jude, obviously Jude is very, very well known in fan art and in the books and everything of having these like horns that were made out of her hair. So at that point, I had cosplay as a way of life. Yes, it is. I love cosplay. And listen, I had not been able to find, like, I love anime and I love comic books, and I have been trying to cosplay characters for years. I never found one that I felt like I really connected to on a personal level, and that was easier, that I didn't need like a whole blue wig to like pull it off, right? Because I don't feel like
Right.
I'm very good in wigs. So with this, I would be able to use my enormous head of hair to wrap around these horns if I could figure out how to do it. So I ended up looking at a couple of different tutorials and ultimately just decided I needed to figure out my own way of doing it. And you can watch the video on my YouTube where I explain kind of how I ended up creating the base for my horns that I ended up wrapping my hair around. And so when I posted that photo, I spent a lot of time on it and kind of trying to figure out what I wanted it to look like. But then when I posted that photo, it got a good amount of traction. But then it wasn't until Owl Crate actually shared that photo on their page. And I think they were using it to advertise for their Wicked King special box, which Wicked King is the second book in the series. And I got like 400 to 500 followers overnight. And a bunch of people, like, I knew at that point that a lot of my, I guess, follower base was Cruel Prince base, because obviously they were following me for that cosplay. And I, at that point, was just inundated with people asking me, well, how did you do the horns? Like, is that like just like photoshopped? I'm like, no, it's real. Like, it's my actual hair. And people were asking me, well, how did you do it? So I attempted to explain how I use duct tape and wire and headband and teased hair, and how I tried to explain how to do it. But ultimately, people were still confused. So I thought, the best thing for me to do was probably just to make a YouTube video explaining how I did it and just see how it goes. And so, of course, I just ended up talking about the book when I first did my makeup tutorial. So I split that into 2. So I expected that more people were most likely going to watch my hair tutorial first before they would care about listening to my book review and my makeup tutorial. But I am shocked that I just checked back on that and it has almost 30,000 views.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's been a couple of moments that I felt like, being on Bookstagram, obviously I see other cosplayers of Jude as well. And I see like, oh, the headband, or, I'll look at the way that they kind of did it and I think, did they watch my video? Did they? And it's kind of cool when you start thinking along those lines, like, oh, I put something out here in the ether, and now people are actually following it and they're using it and they're cosplaying this character now, and I've like helped that. So that was really cool for me. And I fully planned on making more. I was going to do a Belle tutorial. I was going to talk about how you do her hair if you just had either your hair or you had hair extensions. I wanted to get all into that. And ultimately, though, I just did not have the space on my computer to continue on making 2 videos.
Yeah, I do remember when you put out the first 2 videos, and then I remember you were talking about making more, and then you just kept running into issues, and I was like, I feel you, because that's like every YouTuber starting out. You're like, it's just a lot of times it just takes forever to figure out.
Oh yeah, there's 2 different videos that I'd had. One was a series of videos that I wanted to make where I did makeup based on book covers, and I wanted to just be as elaborate as possible with it. Filmed that entire video, and it ended up half of it got lost or deleted somehow. And so at that point, I just got like done with that. And then at that time, there was also a Bratz makeup challenge where you would be like randomly pick like a Bratz doll and you just recreate their makeup. Did that one, and that one also messed up in the way that it wouldn't download on my computer, and then something happened with it through my phone. And then the last effort that I made was making a Wicked King box unboxing on my from Owlcrate, and I ended up realizing that it never even started recording.
I've also done that. Yeah, I've done all those things.
I can't sit here and lie, and it's like I haven't seen all of these items.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'm like, okay, maybe I just need to wait until I have a better setup and I can edit better. And so now maybe I can. I think I'd be better at it now that the hurt is kind of
Oh yeah, no, it is. It can be that, like, I can tell you there's been a few videos that I like have sat down, and I know for a fact I started recording it and then something happened and it'll stop recording. You only get like a minute in, and then like I spent like, it's like a 20-minute video, and you're like, well, like that's over, you know. But yeah, so it definitely is difficult. Okay, to go through some of the comments real quick. Katie said your bookshelf looks great.
Thank you.
And thanks, Mitch, for popping in. Oh yeah, and Christina said, because of Megan, I read the whole series within 2 weeks. Such a great series. You have to get on it. I do. It's on my list. But I just like, I don't know, like any series, like I read the first Caravel.
Yeah.
And even with that series, like I had to like make myself kind of get into most of these series. Like I don't just like get hooked like from the first chapter. That's just me for anything. So if I'm busy, it's very hard for me to get into a series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Katie is curious about this duct tape in the hair. You'll have to go watch the video, Katie, and see what is going on.
Yes. Duct tape and bobby pins and hairspray, and oh yeah, your hair will look like cotton candy afterwards, but it's worth it. Okay.
Yes. And Tim says he thinks every YouTuber has had at one point or another failed to hit the record button, and it's devastating. Can I talk? Button, and it's devastating. It is. It is devastating. Or like me, when we were on our trip and we were vlogging, and I like kept running out of storage on my phone. I kept having to figure out what to delete.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, we kind of already talked about it. I feel like I may know what you're going to say, but you may have some other answers too. But what do you think has been your biggest success and biggest challenge since you've done, I'd say Bookstagram, but even you can include the YouTube in there if you want, just being a content creator, I guess.
Yeah. Probably my pop shop will probably be my biggest success there. That was something that I was not expecting. When I first made my pops, I have it over here because I was planning to rip it apart. You can see it before I rip it apart.
Yes.
So this was the very first pop that I ever made, and it was based on my Jude cosplay that I did. And I ended up creating this because I wanted to base it off of my own cosplay. So when my sister came to me, she's like, hey, well, I think I have some like clay that you can use. It's not the same clay that now that I've been making pops I would use now. But when I started, this was all I had, and it was very haphazard, and I didn't know what I was doing. So I searched all on the internet for a pop that would fit what looked like Jude and what looked like my cosplay. And then I put this thing together and I posted it on Bookstagram, and people just like flipped out. it's one of my most liked photos, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, I need one." And that to me was very odd because I thought, "Oh, wait, did people people actually want me to like sell this?" And so thank you, Tim and Katie. I love this pop. Sentimentally, this pop is great, but as you can see, there's things that I see that just the fact that you can stick your finger right there. None of the
I wouldn't tear it apart though.
I'm just
No, it's like the first. It's the first. I would have it on like a special shelf, like up there forever.
It's still here. It's the reason it's still here. It's just sitting next to me, like my pop graveyard over here beside the camera, for weeks now because part of me wants to rip it apart and the other part of me doesn't. But I know that I can do so much better now if I redid it. But at the same time, there is that sentimental value of the fact this is the very first one I ever made.
Do a new one. Do a new one that is like the better version. But that one, I feel like it's almost like, Tony Stark when he like pulls out that original little, I can't remember the name. Anyway, she like keeps it. I'm like, you have to keep it, Megan. You have to keep it. It's like the first. I mean, I have the first pair of ears I ever made. They're horrible, but I kept them because they're the first pair of ears I ever made.
Yeah.
One of the last pairs of ears I ever made because I realized that wasn't my talent. But, I kept them.
Everyone can improve, and that's what happened with me. And I improved just out of trial and error. But when I realized that there was a huge group of people that actually wanted these, I thought, well, are they just telling me that? And so I bought 3 pops online and I recreated this 3 different times. And then I planned out a date and time and I said, okay, they're going to be available on this day, fully expecting that they were not going to sell, that I just wasted my time and my money buying these pops and doing all this work. And no, they sold out in like 30 seconds. And then I had a ton of people messaging me asking me where they were because they didn't see them in my shop anymore. And I realized, wow, there's a lot of people that want these. And so at that point, I just kept recreating. And then that, went to different pops. And I would say that was probably most definitely my biggest success since starting my bookstore.
Yeah.
My biggest challenge has probably been consistency. I mean, we even talked about this earlier today. Like, consistency is definitely key. And my biggest hurdle, I think, just life gets busy. And for me, I started, trying to make my like photos on Instagram look better, which takes, a lot of editing. And I don't know how people do it so consistently all the time when I know that they're like transporting their like Nikon camera photos to their computer and editing them on their computer and then posting them on Instagram. Like, I don't know how people are doing that when I'm just doing it from my phone and I can't stay consistent sometimes, but yeah, that's probably my biggest challenge. It's just been balancing life and creativity and pops and bookstagram since I started.
Yeah. First off, thank you, Mitch. I appreciate you saying you like the vibe of the show. And he had a question. What kind of clay do you use for your pops now, Megan?
Yeah, I use a mixture of what you said, Super Sculpey, and for anything that I make. I wonder if I have anything that I could like show that would explain it. That's near me. Probably this. I mean, I made a lot of this out of Super Sculpey, which is the reason why it doesn't fit super close to her because I had to oven bake it. So I had to put it in the oven and wait for it to fully harden before I could glue it onto her. Now though, I actually have it right here because this is my desk. I use epoxy sculpt. And so that's really what I majority use. That's what I used for her horns. And that's like her horn is not obviously originally attached to her. I had to use that. That clay dries down like cement and you can like literally throw the pop at the wall and it's not going to come off. Which is what I actually use for the majority of the clay work that I do now. Because now, like, for example, this one, there's this head right here. This is the head that's not had anything done to it. And then this is the head now that I've actually like worked on it. So I cut her crown off and I've gone through like creating more curls and having to clean up the like rim that was left from the crown I ended up having to cut off. So it's kind of a mixture of a bunch of different clay. Just whatever I actually need that clay for at the time. So yes.
That was over my head, but I think Mitch understood what you were saying. Since he knew those names, I was like, I think he knows about clay. So I think you're good there. Okay, so what would you say are some of your like general creator goals for this year? Like what goals do you have by the end of 2022 you would like to achieve this?
Well, for me, I would like to get back into YouTube. I would like to start posting. I've always had this dream of being one of these YouTubers who posts like really in-depth, like story discussions and like deep dives into production of TV shows, sometimes like why shows gets canceled, things like that. And because that's really what I mainly watch on YouTube are videos like that. And so I've always wanted to get into that. And I feel like because I care so much about stories and how they're written and, you know, the timeline of events and decisions that are made, TV is something that's very interesting to me. I mean, I'm going to school in the fall for film. And so uh, it's obviously something that's I'm very passionate about. So I would like to come back to YouTube and kind of make, even if it's just 1 or 2 videos, just see what happens and talk about different subjects that I'm interested in, as well as just being more creative with the pops that that I'm making. You know, we were talking before we went live about the TikTok that I had made last year that ended up getting like 130,000 views when I made the Lady Dimitrescu Funko Pop from Resident Evil. And I have a couple of new ideas for pops like that I want to make. So I want to start trying to really get into being more creative with what characters I'm making. And it's trying to stay consistent on my Bookstagram and trying to be more consistent with when I'm posting and how I'm like building that platform. So yeah, I have big goals.
Yeah, no, I think those are achievable though. But yeah, like consistency and all that takes time,
Yeah.
First off, hey Tammy, thanks for joining. And then Katie asked, are the figures made from scratch top to bottom, or do you use a pop figure as a base and add your own clay? Either way, she's impressed. It looks so professional.
Oh, thank you. I do use the pop as the base, though it depends on the character I'm trying to make. Sometimes I could swap up a head from one pop to another pop, and if I feel like the base is going to be more like what I need for the character, or I will get my X-Acto knife and I will just like cut up the pop as much as I need and then replace what I need for it. My friend Jessica, she calls me where pops go to die because that's how I just destroy the original pop. But yes, I do. I do use the pops as a base.
I have a question before we move on. And this is like kind of nothing to do with you. I'm sorry. But I do want to know about this brain in the Funko Pop situation.
Yeah.
Because I've seen stuff where they say they have like a little brain. Is this true? Have you seen brains in Funko Pops? I need to know because I saw this a while ago on social media.
I feel like what they're probably talking about, are they talking about like when like they rattle?
Well, yeah, like when you cut them open though, people were like cutting them open and they're like, oh, there's like this little brain in there. I don't
Okay,
know
so
if it's fake or not, but like I was mind blown. It was a thing for like a hot minute a few years ago, and now I'm like, I need to know. And since you dissect these things, you would know.
no, I do. Yeah. So rattling pops is one of my biggest pet peeves. I don't want to have a pop that like you could shake like a baby rattle. I hate it. And so I have tried to get in there and try to like get those things out. What I can assume it is that when they're creating the pop before they have the neck plug, meaning like if you see right here, like before they have like this little rim down here, the neck plug, I'm assuming they have to pop out whatever they make the actual head out of. And so sometimes in the manufacturer that will get stuck inside their head. And that's the reason that they rattle. So I don't know if that's what they were referring to, but you actually, in some cases, you can get like a pair of jewelry pliers and pull that out. So maybe that's what they're referring to, but I've never personally seen a brain in any of the.
I saw someone cut it open and I was like, what? Is this real? I don't know.
You need to
I just had to
never sign it again, and then I'll tell you if it's true or false.
Yeah, I'll have to send it because it just came back to me as we were talking about it, and I'm like, that really bothered me because I wanted to know.
It would bother me too.
Yeah, I wanted to know. And Tim also wants to stop the chat for a second. He needs to see this Funko Pop that you're talking about.
Yes, I can get her. She is on display back here.
Yes.
Let me grab her.
Tim asked, and we will answer.
Yes. Here you go. Let's see. So this is her. See if she can actually there it goes. A little bit focus. But yeah, she's huge.
Yeah, she looks big.
Yeah, well, the character is I think, is she 9 feet in the game?
Oh, wow.
So she's a really big character. You can go on my TikTok and you can see the more close-up details of her, but yeah, just this pop I keep using as reference. It's half done, but yeah, this is a normal pop compared to her.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah. 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 And Megan. Yeah, Megan's TikTok is linked down below. So if you want to check that out, he said they're big Resident Evil fans.
Yes.
And he says it's magnificent. She's definitely supposed to be huge. So it's true to form.
Yes.
Christina also asked, are there any particular pops that work well as a generic base?
So you can go online and you can find a just plain Funko Pop. I personally don't ever use those because normally if I was to make a character, I'm going to try and find something that's as close to that character as possible so that I have the least amount of work to do, if that makes any sense. So for me, for example, I'm trying to think. So if I'm going to make an Audrey Rose pop, for example, it's Audrey Rose from Stalking Jack the Ripper, again, another wonderful series. She's from the 1800s, and I knew, because I already had this body and this head, that I wanted to make her into Audrey Rose. So what I've been doing is, because she's more well known to be green, to being a green dress, I ended up already planning to paint all of this green, and I have gone in and kind of created a top skirt, because in the 1800s they would have a top skirt. So I created this line here, and then I created her to have a little mini jacket, because normally they'll wear very high-waisted dresses, and then they'll have a little jacket that goes on top of it. And then I'm going to add a bustle in the back of her dress. I just haven't gotten around to it. So I'll usually look for a good base that's something that is going to be close to what I'm originally intending before, or I'll just create more work for myself. So yes and no. That would be the answer for that.
Yeah. Going back to the Resident Evil pop real quick, Katie said she's perfect and awesome that you considered her height too. Tammy, she makes custom Funko Pop. She recreates them into, usually it's bookish characters, but you've done some Disney too. You had some, you did a gun blank. It's a villain one, didn't you?
Yeah, it's Maleficent. I actually have
Maleficent, yeah.
She's gonna be my next restock. This one right here.
Yeah. I loved that one. That one was really good.
I love her. I love her more in person, and I hate that sometimes you really can't see how she glitters. She glitters purple.
Yeah.
She has stunning up on top. So yeah, I loved these pops, and so yeah, I made a couple more for my next restock. So yeah, I'm excited about those.
Yeah. Mitch asked, are these all one-off, or do you make more than one?
So back when I first started, I was making tons and tons and tons of Jude, because Jude was the only one that I had kind of branched out on. And then eventually, because pop making is not I'm not the only one that does it. There are other people that do Funko Pop as well. And so I ended up becoming friends with a couple of the other pop creators on Instagram, and all of them get custom requests. And at first I didn't do custom requests. I just kind of ordered the same pops, made the same stuff. I was able to plan in advance for the accessories that I needed for whatever I was doing. And the idea of doing one and then never doing it again and having leftover parts and whatnot, it wasn't something I was very interested in when I first started. But then over time, I got more and more requests can you make me this one, or can you make me that one? So eventually I ended up opening up for customs, and I love it. I do. Sometimes I get kind of sad because I work really hard on something and then I don't get to keep it. I have to give it to someone else, because normally I would make new designs for Jude. I would keep one and then I would sell all the rest of them. But no, I don't keep them anymore. So the ones that I make now, or they end up going to their respective homes, and I don't see them again.
Oh,
yeah,
sad. Which Christina says Maleficent is amazing. She needs to buy it now. Which you're doing a restock on that one, right? You said so.
A couple of them, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And she also asked, kind of talking about them going to, you having to part with them all. She says, "What was the pop you had a hard time emotionally or physically taking apart?" Or like, what I have a question too of like, which one was like the hardest one for you to like send off and be like, this is over. Like, I made this beautiful pop and like it's gone. What was the hardest one?
I think for me, the hardest time I had taking it apart was probably my Lady Dimitrescu pop, because this one was, I knew immediately what I was going to do. I had just gone through playing the game with my sister, and because I'm terrible at video games, so my sister played it and I helped her navigate through the game. And then of watching multiple other playthroughs online, I was in a very like Resident Evil headspace, so I thought I need to make a Dimitrescu pop. So I went online, and obviously I wanted to look for a pop that was 9 inches or so, and I found this one, and it was actually the giant, I forgot what her name, Madame Maxime, I think is her name, from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And found her pop. Her pop is very rare. You can even see some of the comments in my TikTok that I created. Like, she's like destroying this incredibly rare Funko Pop. I paid quite a bit of money just for this pop. And so there was an element of me thinking to myself, like, if I waited and I held on to this pop, in like 2 or 3 years, I probably can make some money off of it because of just how rare it is at this point. But then I took my X-Acto knife to her and I just started cutting. And I thought, okay, too late now. So I got to make Lady Dimitrescu out of this. So that was probably the hardest one, just due to knowing like how rare and how sought after that pop is as a collector. Yeah. Just destroying her.
I have a Harry Potter collection, but it's okay. No, I get you.
Comments of people like, I can't believe you're doing this, but also I love the end product. I'm like,
yeah.
But and then the hardest one, I think, parting with emotionally, probably, okay, my friend Gina asked me, Jessica, hi. That's what I just said.
Yeah, she did say that at the beginning. She said that you say that.
Yes. But I ended up making a pop from Hunger Games for my friend Gina. She asked me to make the butterfly dress from the Effie war in Hunger Games. And so I spent a long time like sculpting all the butterflies on that dress and then making her headpiece and everything. It was one of the very first pops I actually had to like paint their skin, and I thought it came out great. And emotionally, like, I even had like a microphone because I had worked on a Amy Winehouse pop before, so I had to cut off her microphone because I didn't need it for that pop. So then as she is reading out, who was going to be partaking in the Hunger Games, it kind of looked like it was a moment out of the movie, adding that microphone onto her stand. And I had so much fun with that Funko Pop, but then I had to pack it up and send it to my friend Gina. And I'm like, I'm sad, but also I know that she's going to appreciate you, so here you go.
Yeah. Putting all that effort. Yeah. Okay, Mitch says, have you ever dabbled or thought about resin casting and molding, or is it more has to be true popish? I don't. Yeah. You know what I mean.
I have thought about resin casting. I've just never gotten into it. It seemed like there was more to it than I was. I do everything out of my bedroom. So anything that has to do with melting anything down or anything like that, I would need to bring it into the kitchen. And my mom would not appreciate that. So I even thought about candle making, but it's the same situation. Maybe in the future, because I have thought about that. I love resin coasters and things like that. I think they're beautiful. So it's definitely been an interest of mine, but not something I have done yet. But maybe in the future.
This may have been the Effie pop that we just talked about, but Jessica wants to know what her absolute favorite pop to create has been.
That's a hard one because I've created so many different ones now, and I'm just a very sentimental person that I kind of get like emotionally attached to all of them. Absolute favorite pop to create though, definitely Effie was really fun because I had a really fun time making all of the little butterflies, and I felt very proud of it every single time that I looked back on that pop. Lady Dimitrescu was really fun because that was kind of like a personal project for me while I was in that, Resident Evil hangover space of still being in that world and not wanting it to end. But then Jude, I had Jude down to a science when I was still making this original design. And I knew exactly how many flowers she needed and in what color, and I was able to just pop those out so fast. And then eventually her original pop ended up spiking in price and I couldn't make her anymore. So that
Oh,
I actually started having to retire designs. That was an interesting endeavor.
yeah. So, you said that you have some Maleficents coming on your shop, but do you have any more releases coming out, or how do you like plan your releases and what you're gonna come out with?
It's been kind of sporadic since I opened up for customs because now that I'm working on custom pops, I try to
Mhm.
prioritize those rather than the ones I'm personally uploading into my shop. So sometimes I'll like plan for a release and I'll mentally plan it because I wouldn't put out a date unless I knew for sure that I could achieve that date. But I'll do a like mental, oh, in 2 or 3 weeks I'll have like a shop date. And then I'll get more customs and then that date will kind of get pushed back. So I am planning though to have a shop date within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Just kind of uploading whatever I get done at the time. I think I finally gotten to a point where I'm good at balancing both
Yeah.
customs and pops that I want to do personally. So I should have because I think I have about 30 pops sitting next to me right now. I should have a pretty good restock coming in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, good. I'm excited. I always get excited personally to like
Yeah.
see them, and like you said, they sell out so fast, and I just like I love to see it. I love to like watch it happen. So that's always a lot of fun. And hey, Cammy, Key to Disney, aka Cammy, thank you for joining. Um, yeah, I was going to ask you about some other small shops,
Mhm.
which I think I don't, it could be wrong, but you have some mugs that I really like that you showed me. I thought I recognized it, which is why I wanted to transition to this question because
Yes.
I was like, those are so cute.
Yes.
But what are some
Yes.
other like bookish or I'll let you show it up close. That one's a Harry Potter one, right?
Yes. I love these. These are some of my absolute favorite things. This comes from an artist named Kara Kozik, and she does the artwork and then she supplies the mugs. And she even has a tea set right now available for pre-sale in her shop that's themed after Lord of the Rings. They are beautiful. I even just recently posted a photo of I got one of those dresses. I got her one. Yes. But she
Aw.
has a series of different ones from Harry Potter to Lord of the Rings to I think she has I think it's like a Disney princess calendar that she has on there as well. Her artwork is just absolutely beautiful. So definitely go check out her. Her name's Kara Kozik. She's a great artist, a great person. Aside from like other shops, I had a list here because I wanted to like not forget anything because I have definitely some good ones. Fable Grounds Coffee. If you like coffee, Fable Grounds Coffee is absolutely incredible. If you're a tea person, Riddle's Tea Shop has some of my absolute favorite tea. It's like bookish themed tea and coffee. I'm not a tea person, so for me to really love tea, it's a good place.
Yeah.
Um, Wicks is like my favorite candle company. Their candles are beautiful and they also smell really great. Um, yes, there are so many shops like Fable Bands. I really love because they make headbands based off of different books and TV shows. I just bought like a Naruto one a couple weeks ago, and then I got Mia, my sister, some different ones for her birthday. So yes, there's multiple different shops. I need to do like a whole like series on my Instagram of like just shop shout outs because
Yeah.
we'd be here all day with me talking about shops.
Oh, I know. So like, when I plan on doing some more small shop stuff, but I remember before I like decided to do this
Yeah.
series, I was going to do something different. And I remember I reached out to you and I was like, what are some of your favorite bookish shops? Like I want to do some bookish shops. And you sent me a lot and had a lot of suggestions. And I even like was going through because like I knew you're like the most connected person I probably know in the book community for Instagram, and I was like going through just like who you follow and stuff, and I was
Yeah,
like, oh my gosh, there's so many like
so many.
stunning people, and it is like really there's like so many that is like mind blowing what they can do. Which I mean, it's
Oh, yeah.
mind blowing what you can do with
Oh,
your
thank
Funko Pops. I mean,
you.
they're stunning. like Tim was saying. They really are.
Thank you.
Yeah. And this question is probably my favorite question, honestly. And it is, what has been your favorite fan interaction? And I had this on here because I'm like, I know you've had a fan interaction of people who are
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh my God, you're Funko Pops, or,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And so I just want to know what your favorite interaction has been with someone who's really loved your work.
So there's a couple of different ones. One that shocked me when it initially happened, that actually kept happening, was when I first started selling my Jude and Carton Pops. That the amount of people that messaged me that were just talking about like, oh, hey, like, when is your next restock? I'm like, oh, it's this date. And then they would message me again like, great, I've never read the books, I just want them. And that to me shocked me, because
Yeah.
the fact that anyone would want to like spend money on something that they'd have no connection to whatsoever. Because I thought to myself, you're going to spend money on a very expensive Funko Pop because you love that character. But the idea that someone would have seen like my Funko Pops and thought, this is gorgeous, this is pretty, I want these so bad, and I have no idea the characters and who they are. That to me was like the highest compliment. And the amount of people that told me that they only bought the books or read the books because they saw my pops, that was something that was very, I just felt like so honored that I kind of, it was crazy. And then there was when I started making more pops, I just went to my next favorite book series, which is Stalking Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
And that series I did, which is right there. Wait, where's my finger? There it is. It's that series. And I did a Funko Pop based on each cover of the book, because she's in a very specific dress on every cover. And so I went scouring the internet for pops that matched each and every cover. And so I would do a release of like, here's Stalking Jack the Ripper, here's Prince Dracula, here's Escaping from Houdini, and so on. And I ended up going to a book convention a couple of years ago. It was 2019, I think. And I was in the bathroom before a panel. It was Stephanie Garber's panel, I think. And I think that's where it was. It was Stephanie Garber's panel. And I was in the bathroom before it started. And of course, there's a line out the door because everyone's waiting. And all of a sudden, like 2 or 3 girls up, a girl like poked her head out. She's like, are you MeganLeighannReads? And I was like, yes. She's like, oh, I bought all your Stalking Jack the Ripper pops. And that was like so crazy to me that, again, there's something about working and spending 6-7 hours on a Funko Pop and then sending it off and not ever looking at it again, that you can be kind of shocked at, one, how many I've made since I have started my shop. That's kind of crazy when you look back at like how many sales I've had of that one pop or two. And then it's another thing to meet someone who like has that on their bookshelves at home and love them. And so that was really, really, really cool to be able to meet her and like talk to her about like what she liked about those pops. And she got to ask me questions about how long I actually spent on them and then how much she loved them and whatnot. So that was really a really cool experience to be someone about it. But
yeah. Christina was curious, what was the name of the series again? I know the Stalking Jack the Ripper, but what's like the actual, is that the name of the whole series, or what's the name of the, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's back in the 1800s about a girl named Audrey Rose. And it's during the time of the Stalking Jack the Ripper murders. And they're very good. If you like American mysteries, you would love them.
Yes, Tim and Katie and I, we actually saw it wasn't Stalking Jack the Ripper. It was a Jack the Ripper themed show though. And I thought about you. I did, because I was like, oh, Megan made some like Funko Pops that were about, a book about this. So that was cool. And like you said though, like, because honestly, I've always loved reading, but like I would see you make these Funko Pops and I'm like, if you like loved it enough to make a Funko Pop about it, then like it's probably worth me reading, So that's kind of like everything that you make a Funko Pop on. I'm like, okay, let me add that to my list of things I need to read, because apparently it's, like, because you love that character enough to make a Funko Pop for it. So,
that's actually how my friend Jessica and I, she's in the chat, that's how her and I met, because she ended up buying a couple of my Stalking Jack the Ripper pops from me. And then we just started talking, and after that, which was awesome.
Yeah. Hey Mel, thanks for joining. Tim was really sweet. He says it's a compliment that's very well deserved. Megan, you have seriously accomplished more in the first half of your life than most of us will accomplish in the next 30 years. Which Tim and Katie have accomplished a lot too, so that's
Yes.
saying a lot. They're very accomplished.
Thank y'all so much.
Yes. And Katie asked, Megan, have you ever sold your pops at a convention? I feel like you would do so well there. And I agree. I do think you would do well.
I have thought about it. We have a couple of different local anime conventions here, and I thought about going and trying to make like a couple of different anime themed Funko Pops, ones that Funko doesn't actually make, and selling those there. I haven't ever bitten the bullet and done it because it does cost quite a bit of money to actually have a booth at a convention. But if I could ever make that happen, that would be incredible. I feel like it would just be fun to be there and have like a little booth, even if I did it making sales. It would be fun.
Yeah. Jessica asked, are there any pops that you would not make?
Ooh, that's probably I have turned down a couple of different custom requests solely because either I did not have the time or because it was a series I wasn't very familiar with. Now I kind of know, for example, there's just certain details that if you don't know the character yourself, you're not going to know if that just doesn't come across right. If I was to make a character have a certain expression on their face, but then they had a completely different personality from the book. There have been multiple times that I've seen, I've had like an idea for a character and then I've read the book and thought, oh my gosh, what if I hadn't done this, this, or this? One of those being Kingdom of the Wicked. Kingdom of the Wicked came out 2 years ago or a year and a half ago now. It was the author of Stalking Jack the Ripper, her new series. And I was going to make an Amelia pop and for the book, but I obviously, to make that come out around the same time that the book came out, I hadn't read the book yet. So I had to kind of look at fan arts that had come out about her, and just to find out that there are different accessories that are very important to her, and the colors that she wears, and the way that she wears her hair is very specific. And so if I had really bitten the bullet and done my original design, it would not have looked anything like that character. So sometimes if someone contacts me and asks me like, hey, can you make this character? If I'm not super well known on that character, I will probably say no, or I won't make it. Now though, with customs, I've learned to have them send me fan arts that they like and they see the character, so that I can copy that pretty closely in like my own way with my own spin on it, and then I send them a concept design so that they can look at it and make sure that I'm making the correct thing. So
yeah. Christina also agrees you would do well at a convention.
Oh, maybe it's something I need to think about.
Yeah, in the future. I do think that those would be like a lot of work though. Like getting enough pops ready. I think that would be a lot. That would be a lot. Okay, so do you have any tips for people that, want to be on, content creators? They want to be on Bookstagram, or they want to do, a small shop. Do you have any tips for people that, you figured out that you think is a very helpful thing to know going into it?
I think one, we've talked about consistency is key. If you really want to grow your platform, consistency is key. But I think that very quickly after that comes creative burnout, which is very easy to fall into. Really hard rules on yourself. Like I ran into that pretty quickly because I used to post every single day. And then I went to every other day. And then I went to every other day. And then eventually I got so tired and so burnt out that I ended up just stopped posting at all. And because I was trying to push myself really hard to stay consistent. And I did grow. I grew pretty well in the beginning. But I think eventually just have fun with it. And I think I followed people that I just really loved their personality, and I really loved like what they were posting, and they didn't post every day. And I just liked having conversations with them, and I kept up with their lives, and I liked them as people. And so, I think being friendly and really connecting with your followers, connecting with the people that are choosing to follow you and like your content, can go a longer way sometimes than staying like super consistent. And also just know your limits, and it's really easy to get creatively burnout. and know your limits. Know if you need to take a break, you know. I just had the Hamilton song just in the background, take a break. But yeah, probably the
Yeah,
biggest tip.
I agree. I do think creative burnout is a big thing. Big thing for a lot of people. All right. So, other than your release, do you have anything coming up on your Instagram that you want to talk about? Anything fun coming up in your? I know you talked about you're going to school soon
Yes.
to do film, so that's exciting. Do you have
Yes.
anything else that you have coming up that you want to talk about?
I am going to try and stay more consistent with new cosplays. I actually have an Evangeline cosplay that's been sitting in my closet since September of
Oh,
last year that I have not pulled out. I bought a dress for it. I actually bought a wig for it. And I have not put it on or had the time to even cosplay. So that's something that I really want to prioritize is trying to have more fun with it, even if I maybe even trying to take multiple photos at once when I do have the time, and going ahead and creating like their bios and the hashtags and everything, so that when I do post, I can just go ahead and go on there and click post, trying to figure out ways that I can stay more consistent. But aside from that, I'm open to customs, and will have a couple of new releases soon with new characters like Evangeline. I'm doing that one right now, and yeah, I'm gonna try and make some more reels. I think that is something that part of Instagram I have never participated in that I would love to participate in. So yeah, I have a lot of plans. I don't know if they'll come out. But I have a lot of plans.
well, it's good to have plans at least. You know,
Yes.
see how it happens.
Yes.
I agree with Mitch. You're very well spoken.
Oh, thank you.
I'm like a squirrel, so I kind of envy that. People who are you're very well spoken. And Tim agrees 100% or 10,000%. The consistency is key, and burnout are two sides of the same coin. But building a schedule you can stick with is key. Tim and Katie are good about their schedule. They really are.
They are.
They
I
are.
see them uploading videos and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, no. And Jessica says Megan does a great with custom. She's making some for her.
I am. Yes.
Mitch says reels are fun, but it's a pain in the butt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up trying to make a reel and then somehow Instagram glitched and deleted it.
Oh.
And so that's again, it's like I feel like it's almost like my past of like trying to make YouTube videos creeping up behind me. We have plans, but we're technology and we're going.
Yeah. I haven't done a lot of reels either, but I will say that like I've had like an Instagram post ready before, and I will like somehow get off of it for 1 second, and usually Instagram, like you can go right back into it and it'll still be there, and then it's always like right before I'm about to post one, it goes and then it's like, oh, we're reloading all of Instagram. I'm like, I didn't close out of Instagram. What are you doing?
Well, I ended up when I made my first TikTok, because TikTok and Reels are obviously Reels is a copy off of TikTok, but I tried really hard to do TikTok right the first time, but I didn't know how to work it, and so a lot of the ways that you can like start filming something, and then when you want to go back to the editing portion, if you even go into the editing portion and then go back, it just deletes your TikTok. And you can't edit as you go. You have to film everything and then go in and edit. And that was something I didn't know. And so I'm really glad that I made everything more difficult on myself. And I used just my own camera and my phone to film all of my little clips and videos. And then I put them into TikTok. Or else if I had done it all through TikTok, I probably would have lost that entire video.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I didn't do that. But learning the platforms is very confusing. Like we were talking earlier, sometimes you just want to stick with one and you don't want to have to relearn how to work a bunch of different ones.
Right. Yeah. That was always something I'd heard other people say. Is like a tip is, you want to try to be like the master at one platform. And we both talked before we came on that is something we both struggle with. We both want to do a lot of different platforms. We both want to create, like, because we're creative people. Like you just see this platform, you're like, oh, I could create this content on here. But it is hard to kind of like figure out what's the best game plan. for you. But I think everyone grows different. Like there's some people that try one platform and they don't grow as well. And then like they try something else and they do. So I think it's very, different for everyone.
Yeah.
I hear Tim over here calling me out. I've been handed the My Hero Academia as an assignment. Yeah, so I have a February You've seen My Hero Academia.
Dude, right? I could go change into my Hero Academia tracksuit right now. I have it in my closet. Training tracksuit from UA, okay?
Well, for my birthday, Tim and Katie sent me the first season of My Hero Academia on DVD.
Thank you.
They did. And I was like, oh, I see. And they were very patient and waiting for me to eventually watch it. I still have not. Because I'm a rewatcher. I like get stressed out and I'm like, no, let me go. I've just restarted Full House because I was so stressed out in my life. And I'm like, I just need to watch Full House. I need to watch
something. It's a comfort show for you.
Yeah. It's a comfort show. But I am starting my February challenge that they gave me was to start My Hero Academia. So we'll have to talk about that when I finish. And Katie is going to watch Gossip Girl for me because
nice.
Yeah, me and Tim both love Gossip Girl. So have you seen that one?
I have not. I just had a friend like a couple days ago telling me I needed to go back and watch the show.
Yeah, they have a newer one as well. They have a reboot that is very different.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's very different. But me and Tim still watched it because we're like Gossip Girl fanatics.
Yes.
But yeah, I do recommend it whenever you have time. It's not. I feel like it's.
Okay, I was literally about to say that. There's a rule that I've given to everyone I've told to watch anime, and it's 3 episodes at least. Only judge anime based on 3 episodes. If you don't like it after 3 episodes, you may not like the rest of the show. But My Hero Academia, truly, 2 episodes.
I just feel like I'm waiting. I'm like giving myself a few more days because I'm like, I know I'm going to be sucked in and I'm trying to like get my productivity in before I start. Because I'm one of those people, like once I get sucked in, it's over for me. And I'm like, I'm in. Which I have one more thing I did want to ask you about. This was, not a pre-planned question, but since we're talking about anime, Katie got me into what's called webtoons.
Yes.
So I don't know if I had told you this or not already. So she got me into webtoons, and I'm trying to think of the 2 I read. I read the Lore Olympus, which is like everyone that's on that reads that. And then there was another one I read. I'll have to send you the name of it. But are y'all into those 2? Because I know you and your siblings, y'all like anime.
So Mia is like the webtoon queen. If you need any recommendations, webtoons, just text Mia. She loves them. My sister. 3 episodes is my rule for all shows. It's true.
Oh yes, it was Midnight Poppyland. That was the other one Katie recommended.
Yeah,
I loved it. Okay, Katie's like, oh, I don't know if you're gonna like it or not because it has like mafia in it, and I'm like, girl.
If it has angst and a romance, Kaylee's gonna like it.
I know. I was like, let's see. I watched Sons of Anarchy.
There you go.
I watched General Hospital, which was just like ridiculous, but it had a mafia plot. So I was like, I can watch it. But no, Midnight Poppyland was really good.
Yeah.
As well. But I'm having, I don't know, it's kind of like some of the fan fictions for me. I'm very, very nitpicky about what I get into. And I can only read certain things. But yeah, those were the 2 I really liked. And I thought about y'all. I was like, y'all have probably heard of it. I never even heard of webtoons until
there's one that Mia loves that actually, just like Lore Olympus, it came out as a book as well. I don't know where you're reading webtoons, but there's the webtoon app that you can get that Mia loves. And one of them it's called Hooky. It's really popular. And it came out as a book where she actually ended up redrawing the entire beginning, I'm pretty sure, when it came out as the book format. And so Mia loves that series. So maybe that's another one that you can look at.
I don't need another one, Megan. I don't need more. I told Katie, I was like, you gotta quit giving me recommendations.
Watch My Hero Academia. Mia would agree with me.
Yes.
Watch that one.
I can only do one thing at a time.
Here, okay, listen. We have this and this. You have my All Might Funko Pop and my Todoroki Funko Pop. Okay, this is from My Hero Academia. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Great series. Please watch it.
I will watch it, and then I feel like we'll have to do a live stream.
Yes.
And, have a chat. Apparently, because it's that good. I've been told to, Tim and Katie were very patient. It got dropped, it name dropped several times in polos.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, My Hero Academia. Ever
Yes.
gonna watch it? Katie said Hookie is on her list for webtoons.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So that's like I said, it's my sister's favorite one. She ended up buying actually 2 different copies of that book when they came out. Yes,
I mean, like Megan said, if it has angst and if it has romance, I probably will be into it.
Crazily enough, like, listen, like, okay, shonen anime doesn't have romance a whole lot of the time, but My Hero Academia has very wholesome, like moments of the main character and a girl that I'm pretty sure he'll probably end up with. That just keeps you going, man.
Look, I always use this as the example when I say I tried when I was in college to watch like Prison Break, because I'm like, it's about men in prison, and like, there's probably not gonna be a whole lot of I mean, there could be some romance, whatever, but then there was like this couple in there, and I'm like, crap, I watched this purposely because I didn't think I'd be into it because there would be no couples, and then there was a couple in it, and it actually turned out to be a really solid show regardless. But so I'm not just about the couples, but that is generally my formula. But anyways, Megan, where can people find you at? It's all linked down below, but go ahead and talk about where you can be found at.
I am on Instagram most of the time. You can find me at MeganLeighannReads. That's pretty much everywhere that you can find me. I just am under that exact same name. So MeganLeighannReads on my Instagram, on my Etsy store as well, I have it all linked on my Instagram as well, so you can find all of these as well through that there. But then on YouTube as well, MeganLeighannReads, and there was the other one. What was the other one? TikTok. There you go. on
TikTok.
So on all those platforms, just under the same name, MeganLeighannReads.
Yeah, in your Etsy shop, everything is linked down below. So thank you so much, Megan, for joining. And we had a really nice conversation. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Y'all had some really good questions for Megan that I had to read verbatim because I still don't know. I'm happy y'all got to have some like really good conversations about like Mitch knows about clay. I know that now. He's got me curious about what he's doing on the side. But thank you all so much for joining, and I'll be back next week for another live chat. I'll have my friend Matt from Teacup for One on, and I'm super excited about that as well. He's really fun. Megan, he kind of like does some videos similar, like he talks about like storylines and like characters. It's just about movies.
I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, he has some good content you'd probably like, actually. And thanks for everyone for joining. Like I said, great live.
Thank you for having me on. I had a great time.
We got to get like one inappropriate comment at the end.
Oh yeah.
All right. Oh, we didn't talk about writing. We didn't talk about writing. That's true. To really briefly talk, me and Megan both do writing. Megan's more successful than me. Christina's calling me out because she's like, you didn't ask any writing questions. Because she asked me what was this live about, and I was like, oh, we're gonna talk about writing. But yeah, Megan's working on a book.
Yes. I've written a couple of different ones, but the one I'm currently working on is a YA novel. It's more vampire themed, so I've been very excited about it. Yeah, but I love writing fantasy, anything, obviously. Love reading. I want to be an author, so that's
yes. And that's kind of what...
also a great writer as well. She writes great stories.
Yeah. Oh, Jessica says she wrote an amazing book that I am reading, and holy crap. Yeah, I actually have had the pleasure of reading some of it too. I've been very bad though. And I haven't finished it. And Megan was like, is it me? Is it my writing?
Does it suck, or are you just busy?
I was like, no, I'm just busy. It's not you. It's not your writing. It was really good. It was really, really good. And I'm really excited to finish reading it. And my book is actually still in the drafting process. I think I had a draft of it. We've talked about like we've done a lot of talk about, plotting. I was trying to think.
Yeah.
Plotting the book. And maybe we can come on and have like a writing chat sometime. I think
I
that would
would
be
love
a lot
that.
of
That would
fun.
be so
Yeah.
much fun because I love talking about plotting and writing and story progression and character development and all of that. That's some of my favorite things. I could talk all day about that.
Kind of where we're pivoting to. Tim and Katie said that they can, where can they sign up to be beta readers?
I mean, I'm open. I gotta query this book, so I'm open all opinions.
Yeah. And Christina says she loves vampires.
Nice.
Not to miss, Mitch had a comment up here. He actually had a question. What books would you guys recommend a novice reader who's only read the Mortal Instruments and Summoners series?
Ooh, okay, Mortal Instruments is a great trilogy. I have not read on in that exact one past the original trilogy. For me, so I mean, that's kind of like a contemporary magic and a high fantasy, both of them. So, well, I mean, I have a whole library behind me.
I know. I'm trying to like think, and then I'm like,
probably.
Have you read Harry Potter?
I think depending on what you're interested in, Stalking Jack the Ripper is a good one because I think it's just a solid series of like murder mystery and has really great characters. If it was a TV show, hands down, it'd be one of my favorites immediately. That's kind of how I look at things. Like if you were a movie or a TV show, would I like you? And like it would be incredible. Lunar Chronicles, again, you really can't go wrong with that one. They're fairy tale retellings, but they have really cool twists on them. I kind of always imagined them being a really good anime, which is actually interesting because they're now officially becoming an animation. That got released a couple of days ago. I also wrote Throne of Glass. That was the other one I was thinking of, was Throne of Glass. So if you've already read that one, probably,
What's the other series? The Court of Thorns and Roses? Is that the other series? Yeah. So there's another series by the same author that's like, kind of.
Yeah, they're kind of similar, but if you like more of like the action-packed, kind of assassin-themed like storylines, it you could like it, you could not. So that I'm seeing the comments down below, Mitch's comment. Those are also really good ones as well. So definitely. Anyone have book recommendations? Jessica, I know you're out there too. You have book recommendations. Yeah, I think the ones that we talked about, Shadow and Bone, would be a really good series.
Oh yeah, that's a fun one.
Including Six of Crows.
Yeah,
it goes right along with it. So yeah,
I really liked Caraval personally. I thought that one was fun. Yeah, that one was a fun one, and I liked the Shadow and Bone, and I've read some of Six of Crows, but that one is really good, and I feel like that one would probably be one you would enjoy, Mitch. So yeah, but no, Christina said we need to do another live where we talk about the writing process, and I definitely feel like we should. Like I said, I'm kind of transitioning more into like this channel being about like that too, because obviously that's something we both have as a goal of ours. So I would love to like do that. We talked about it a lot as it is, like ourselves, personally. We talk a lot about it. So okay, more recommendations. Across the Universe series by Beth Ravis.
That's when she got me that book for my birthday last year. I have not read it yet, but it sounds really cool. It's a sci-fi book. So yes, that one.
And then Lev Grossman, The Magicians.
I have not read that one.
I haven't read that one either. I'm behind though on my reading. I have all these books back here. I gotta read.
If I told you how many books of these I've actually read and not read, I would look like an imposter. My TBR list is long, okay?
Oh yeah, mine's really long too.
Oh yeah.
Here's another one. Give the Dark My Love by Beth Ravis. Yeah, I'll have to like look into some of these for sure. These comments I can go back and look at. I'm gonna like add some of these to my long list.
Yeah.
After My Hero Academia.
Yes.
We'll try to start reading some of these. All right, guys. Well, thank y'all. If y'all want to continue leaving recommendations, you can. Like the comments won't close just because it's ended. I'll say this last one. Ready Player One, not magical, but heavily nostalgic. That one's another one I've never read. I feel like I've seen the movie one time.
Yeah, I heard the movie
Isn't there a
was
movie?
different from the book. I've heard a lot of people they really liked the book better.
Arthur says you have a beautiful smile.
Oh, thank you.
I love the profile picture is Arthur. That's so sweet. Yes. Thank you, Jessica, for coming. Thank you, everyone. We're going to go ahead and end it here. We did want to just put some writing out there, though, since I did promise Christina some writing time. I had to
just make a whole other live.
All right. Well, yeah, we will. We will. Thank you guys for coming. We'll see you next time.
Yes, bye. Thank you. Bye.